I was always looking for that validation
right.
to kind of solidify my confidence. But over the years, I just learned to really take ownership in
right.
what I offer. And I see that in some people, as I was growing in my artistry,
right.
and people in dance that wasn't probably as good as a dancer as I was, but
right.
they moved past me because
focused.
Because they were so confident. So I think that when you own what you offer and really capitalize off of it and go for it, you're there.
Have you ever felt confused about your present, feeling like you're all over the place and super anxious about your future, but you have the desire to pursue purpose? Well, my name is Michelle Morris, and I've created a series called Living on Purpose. In this series, I interview different individuals who are doing just that, living on purpose. And we talk about their different obstacles that they face, the ups, the downs, and actually what it's like now to actually be pursuing purpose. So I want you guys to come along the journey with me as we talk to these different individuals. We see what it's like to live on purpose. Hey guys, it's Michelle. Welcome back to another episode of Living on Purpose. Today we have a super special guest. We have here Rahrii, a makeup artist now turned image consultant. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yay, I'm so excited. So as you guys know, or as you know, I kind of briefly was telling you about Living on Purpose. It's just pretty much just following the journeys, or so much diving more into the journeys of different individuals who are pursuing their purpose, and I feel like you are one of those people.
Thank you.
So, so we talked about you being an image consultant now, but first makeup artist. So just tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do.
Okay, so yes, I did start makeup about 2 years ago. I now have decided and realized the things that I do offer kind of coincide with the image consulting thing.
Right.
So honestly, yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Okay.
And that's it.
No, that's fine. So you said that you're doing makeup. Was makeup something that you always wanted to do, or when did you discover yep, it's makeup?
Well, I was into makeup at the age of 17. So I graduated high school pretty early.
Yeah.
But I always loved makeup just by watching YouTube. But I didn't really feel like I was I would say my confidence wasn't there yet to actually do makeup for people.
Right.
I didn't discover that until later in my early 20s that I had a gift and I was okay, it's time to use it because everyone's telling me please do my makeup, and then I finally started, and it's been going well.
It's been going well for you. So you talked about graduating high school and then not necessarily having the confidence. So what did you do after high school exactly? Because I know most people after high school, it's changing now as the times, but most people are told after high school you go to college, you get a career, you work. So was that a path that you took, or how did that go for you?
I am definitely a college dropout. I always just wanted to make my parents happy.
Right.
That was just a big thing in our household. Sorry. So yeah, my parents really wanted me to go to college, and as I went to college, I realized that was just something that wasn't for me, and that was okay.
Yeah.
As I learned.
Yes.
But yeah, I tried college and then I dropped out.
You said you tried college. What did you try in college? Because you're an artist.
Yes.
So what did you do, or did you just do a lot of things? Because that was my story.
I did a lot of things. So as soon as I graduated from high school, I went to Carroll City, by the way. And then I enrolled in Miami-Dade College, and I was there for about a year and a half, but I majored in dance and minored in psychology, and then I found out I didn't want to be a dancer. So then I ended up studying business. And then from business, I went into tech, and then I started working for Apple.
It was just
it was just a lot. And I've gone through so much, I think, with realizing, I abused, myself. By, trying to, fit in and thinking that, the path that your parents may say is just really not meant for you. You have to find that on your own.
Exactly.
So I went through the trenches.
Yeah. You know what I noticed with you saying that? I think what's common about different people who go to college, I think they always take psychology. They always do business. And then somewhere along the way, you're like, you
Just
know
like,
what? You try to find a way to be creative, but it doesn't work. But speaking of your parents, I know you talked about them, you know, wanting this path for you, and I can definitely relate. I think a lot of people can relate as well. Now, were they always supportive? Like, you're like, okay, because first of all, you said you wanted to do dance.
Right.
Now, I know me, growing up Caribbean background,
yeah,
dance wasn't like, what? Like, my mom was like, go to the park and go dance. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So were they always supportive in you, one, just being a creative, and then, like, you know, especially doing something like this?
Well, funny enough, my dad and my mom are both creatives. My dad loves music, and my mom was a hairstylist. Okay. So I think because she's already, like, been in the beauty industry, she knows how it is. So she really, like, kind of wanted me to choose a career path in school and stuff like that. But for them, they've been very supportive. Like, whenever I would change my mind, like, okay, you want to dance? Okay, Arielle, what is it? You know? But throughout, like, my years of, like, learning myself, they've been super supportive, and I love them for that.
I think that's so awesome, because I think that's not a lot of people's story and their journey. So the fact that you had supportive and creative, I think your mom just understands, like, as a creative, your mind just, like, you know, so I think that's so awesome. But you talked about when you were 17, and then, like, being, like, you know, going up into your 20s, you weren't really confident. Now, in a world full of influencers and now makeup artists, and everyone can do their own makeup now, right? Where did you find that confidence to go say, you know what, like, no, I'm gonna do this, like, I'm gonna go ahead and you know?
This may sound bad, but I don't know what, like, another way to put it.
Right.
But sometimes I used to see people in the industry that, like, this was even when I was dancing. Right. Like, I would see people around me that would, like, fight more than, like, I would, and it wasn't to say that, like, I wanted it better, or I wanted it more than that other person, or that person wanted it more than me. It was just to see someone, like, be really confident in what they wanted as their passion and go for it. So honestly, like, I would say, like, my confidence level has always been, like, low. I don't know. It was like growing up in high school, I was always, like, by myself, because I was not the it girl.
I always say that. I wanted you to say, because I didn't want to have to say, not to say that you weren't, but I just didn't want to. We have the same story in that way. I'm like, I was just never that
I used
popular.
to color my hair, and people used to love it, but I think they kind of, like, put me in this, like, weird box, you know, because my hair was always different colors. But it kind of, like, you know, I guess shifted my confidence a little bit. I mean, I owned it. Right. But at the same time, it's like I was always looking for that validation. Right. To kind of solidify my confidence. But over the years, I just learned to, like, you know, really, like take ownership and, like, what I offer. And I see that in some people, like, as I was, like, growing in, like, my artistry. Right. And people in dance that wasn't probably as good as a dancer as I was, but they, like, moved past me because because they were so confident. So I think that, like, when you own what you offer and really like capitalize off of it and go for it, you're there.
I think that's so good you said owning what you offer. But so you do this full time now, right?
Yes.
So kind of like back to the question though, like, but like, how did you gain that courage? Because you talked about working at Apple, which I could see it, but I don't see it, but I see it.
I worked there for 4 years.
That's crazy.
4.5.
But so, like, the thing is, you know, with creatives, I think, and just people who are just trying to create their own path and pursue purpose, a lot of times it goes into entrepreneurship for a lot of people. So when did you finally know the confidence? Because you're like, okay, like, no, I can do this, and no, I'm not doing people's makeup for free anymore. Like, you know, like, this is a business. So, like, where did you find that confidence from? Like, because did you go from Apple to doing this full time, or did you work somewhere? So you did
Apple and straight to makeup.
So then, where did you like? I don't know. Like, were you like, okay, I'm gonna save this much money, or I'm gonna like? Did you have this crazy client? You're like, okay, I did Beyonce's makeup, and like now I can go full time. Like, so like, what happened? Like, What was that gap for you?
While I was working at Apple, it's like I was learning myself because I worked at Apple here in Miami, and then I moved to New York. And like, I don't know, New York has like put a spark in me that like motivated me to do like many things. And I discovered like, okay, boom, I want to do makeup. Right. And before I like really thought about doing makeup, I made a plan for myself because I knew I didn't want to work for Apple too long. Right. And I was just ready to work full time as a makeup artist. So I kind of planned my budget, getting out of debt, and also investing into my craft.
Wow. How did you do that?
So I would like look up like inspiration makeup artists. And a lot of them offered classes. So I would just like save my money, pay for the classes, learn from them. And a lot of them had like this one makeup artist was very specific with like teaching, like, to be confident in your artistry as far as pricing and etc. And at the time I was kind of like doing makeup, but not like taking it seriously. So it was like people were giving me money, just off of like, oh, okay, like here you go. Yeah. Literally a tip.
like a gig.
Yes. Yeah. Because of me, I didn't take ownership of what I offered to actually, say, hey, no, I'm not doing this for free, or I'm not doing this for this amount.
Right. That's so important.
Yes, it is. But while I was taking the class, one of the tips was to reach out to the people like that you've done as far as makeup, and ask them like how much would they actually pay for a look like this. And that was such like a cool tip, and I used that. And when people started saying 75, 85, 65, I said, oh no.
I'm not charging enough.
Oh no, I gotta quit my job tomorrow. So I don't know. But
imagine, because like if you did so many faces in a day, that's like probably like your week's salary at your job. No, so that makes total sense.
So that definitely built my confidence, and I was just like, no, I literally like have to do this. Like I have to do this. So
I think that's so awesome. And you said something that I really wanted to like jump on back on, because piggyback on again. And you talk about investing into your craft and taking like classes to make sure that you're bettering yourself. Because I think a lot of time, especially like in like the millennial industry, we think we the best at everything.
Oh yeah.
And like we don't need to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just like the best. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's so important that you talked about like investing into your craft, but also taking classes from other people who've come before you. I think that's so important. So no, like even for myself, like studying and like, investing into like a mentor and different things like that. But that's like so awesome.
Oh, thanks.
So like I was saying, with the makeup industry being so competitive, right? And just like literally now, like almost everyone does it. Do you ever feel inadequate? And like if you ever did feel inadequate, how do you like shift that way of thinking?
Well, to be honest, and I'm just even thinking about your question and how you say like it's such a competitive world. Right. I try not to look at the makeup artistry as such, or even the beauty industry, because a lot of times competitiveness can become like it makes the environment and the business really like catty. Right. Yes. And it's almost like a second nature to like when you're in a space with another makeup artist to not speak or not say hello, or like I'm going to do makeup better than you. But what I've learned in the industry, and as I like would be on set with a couple of makeup artists, I always just try to be as welcome as possible, because I know how it may make someone feel if they're new to the industry. So I mean, honestly, to shift that, say hello, be welcoming. Right. I am always a person I think people can come to as far as like being new to the industry. Right. When it comes to questions like how should I go into this, like. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know, like, if you reach out to me through DM, we can have a whole conversation about makeup.
I want to talk about that, but go ahead, finish.
But yes, you can literally DM me and ask me any questions, and I'm, like, so eager to actually answer, because I was once that girl going into the industry lost, not having anyone, and still to this day, I don't have, like, people that I can really call and say, hey... except for one, I'm going to shout her out. Her name's China. I met her in New York. Her work is amazing. She's worked with Nike, like so many people. But she's like, I would say like my mentor, close enough. You know, I call her and ask her for, you know, little tips when I feel like I'm struggling or
maybe stuck. I think that's so important that you said that, because even with myself, I think in the influencer space, a lot of people, it's almost like a man eat man, or like climb on top of each other, and people don't want to help. I think it was so important that you said about like answering people's like DMs or questions that they may have. Now I have this question for you though. When is it like too much? Like, okay, I'm not giving that much information in my DMs, or like, do you have a cutoff, or are you just open to like, you know, just helping the next girl guy up into the industry? Like, what is that for you? Or why is it so important that you help the person behind you?
Right. I think, to be honest, I think everyone in their field get kind of like, not scared, but it's almost like they shut everything off when it comes to like a certain point. But when you really like take it there and allow people to do that, you'd be shocked to hear and like really see what kind of questions are being asked, because it's really not like deep.
Right.
It's like most of the time easy questions, but if someone were to take it there, like, I am not the type of person to hold that in. I just feel like that's nothing. It's nothing for me. If I give you, you know, more than probably what you've asked, I think that like how I look at life in general is what's for you is for you. Right. And literally with me giving you that advice or answering your question is doing me no harm. You know, I'm still working towards, you know, what I want.
Would you advise the up and coming artists to do that though? Would you advise them to reach out to people in their DMs, different things like that, until they like hit a strike? Or like, is there like a game plan for them to do that? Like, should they write it down, really think about what it is? Or
I find that like, I mean, if it's very frequent and you're looking like, hey, this could make me some money, go for it.
Right.
You know, offer classes. But for me, I don't feel like it makes me any better to hold everything back, you know? I try to be as transparent as possible. And eventually myself, once I want to like offer classes in the near future. So that would be coming in 2021.
Right.
For myself. But I don't know. I never see like an issue with like sharing information. I don't know. I love to learn. So
So you just want to reciprocate.
Exactly.
Or you want to be the person that, you know, the golden rule thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, well, with everything, like I was saying, with the whole like the industry and everything like that, how do you, with building your brand, because you're building your brand right now, a lot of people are building their brand, do you ever feel like you're not getting the shine that you deserve, or like, you know, your brand is not building quick enough? Like, how do you get past that, or how do you create a schedule for yourself in being a artist?
Good question. It's so funny because I think I actually had this conversation with one of my clients, and we just talked about how to keep going forward. I think a lot of times when you're in spaces where you feel like you're not getting like enough credit, I think that feeling alone makes me think and makes me wonder, like, you know, like maybe I shouldn't be focusing so much on getting the credit and focusing more on my craft. So that just gives me fuel to kind of push forward more, because it's only like, to me, I think it's like a bad thought, an evil thought to make you feel like less than, you know? So I kind of like shift that around and focus more on my craft and how I can like, you know, offer more, you know, because maybe that's why, you know, I'm not getting the credit or, you know, the recognition that I wish for, because a lot of times like people see you in a different light than you do, so it's that's like true. Oh, I want to do makeup, and then it's like, no, we want this from you, or we want you to style me, you know. So it's like learning that about yourself can really like, you know, help you when you get to those thoughts or like, you know, that space, but I think that when you take ownership and like just shifting your thoughts and your mind and more into your craft, like the credit is gonna eventually come
with it. Do you think that's a part of the reason why you kind of made your career shift, in a sense of not being an image consultant, not necessarily just focusing solely on, you know, just makeup? Because you have a great image. I mean, you're a very stylish person. So like, how did that come into play? And because, you know, with purpose and with, you know, being a creative, it usually is ebbs and flows, you know. You're not sitting at a job or a desk just doing one thing. So like, is that the reason why? Like, how did that come about?
So see, it's so funny because I feel like I resort back to like social media and like being open. I used to ask a lot of questions like, what do you like see me as, or what would you like want more from like me? Like what is it specifically that you want more of? Right. And people would say like styling or how you do your makeup or I love your wardrobe. And me, I used to look at my clothes like, what are you guys talking about? Like I practically wear, the same things. Right. But just to be, I guess, I feel like I was just open enough to like, accept the advice given. And that helped me transition to like what people want to see from me more. And that helped me like shift everything. And then I hired like a business consultant.
Yes. Listen, but sometimes you have to evolve. And I think that also means that you shouldn't be afraid to evolve. Because I know sometimes when you're doing something and people know you as this one thing and then you don't want to move to the next thing. But it's like, no, it may be time to kind of like put that down.
It almost feels weird. Because you're like, wait, what? You see me as what? Because people see you in a different light. And I wouldn't say it's weird, but it's like, it's great to learn, eventually you're like, oh wow, like you think I'm cute? So literally that's how I was like going into it and transitioning. It's amazing. I like the ride.
So like what would you offer? Because I know you said you're starting it off. So like what is an image consultant? Like what is it that you would do for someone who may say, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because people probably just don't know. And then you said it, they're like, that's exactly what I want to do. So
in the beginning, I was like myself. What the heck is an image consultant? But basically, what we do is transform one's image. Right. It could be like through etiquette. It could be through styling. It could be through transforming your image as far as like makeup. Right. Your hair. Right. Grooming. So. As an image consultant, all you're doing is just basically like transforming that person's image as just a person, like if it's whether, it's for their entrepreneurship, their personal life, if they want to like elevate, their wardrobe. Right. It's just so much. It's really big, surprisingly, No,
that's awesome because I think that you can like pinpoint different things. I guess in a way, as a consultant, you can see, okay, this needs to change or this needs to, so that's awesome. So what would you say is your biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
I would say my biggest obstacle is confidence. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, it's so personal. But it was one of the biggest challenges I've had that affected me personally and also my business. And I didn't really think that it would affect my business so much because, like, I'm like, oh, I'm all about work. But it really showed. And I definitely had to do a lot of self-reflecting. Right. And a lot of it had to do with, like, hanging around the wrong people that would, like, suppress what I had to offer or suppress my creativity.
For example?
I've been overlooked a lot of times. Even in working my 9-to-5s, I knew I was just like called and like I was just different from everyone, and as much as I had tried to like fit in, it just didn't work out. So it was like me like taking the time to really self-reflect and learn like what my purpose was in life. So
no, I think that's awesome because like I think what it is, I think people can feel when you're just not like everyone else. And I feel like I felt that way too, like being able to relate, like, okay, not always necessarily being the it girl, different things like that. But I'm like, I know I'm different. And I may not be it, but I'm something.
I know I can bring it.
Like, I know I'm something. So I think that's so important, especially like we talk about the, the people who you surround yourself with. Because sometimes they may even see what it is in you and just don't want you to realize it. And it takes you realizing it as well. Yes. So, but like, how important would you say confidence is now to you, and where would you say your confidence level is now?
I still feel like I need a little work. That's just me being hard on myself. But I think a scale from 1 to 10?
I mean, if that's what you want to do.
It's definitely a 9.
Okay, pretty high.
Pretty high, but there's just little things that I know, like personally, that I could work on. But I would say my level's there. I do want to say, like, being around, or if you are in a situation or in a space where you find yourself around people that suppress, change that thought. Just kind of like do a lot of self-reflecting and analyzing who you are, and just kind of like moving forward in like your passions and what you like to do,
Can you give an example of how they can do that? Like, what did you do? Like, maybe one thing you've done that really, like, you can see a difference.
It's kind of hard to say because I would say, and it may sound weird, but I recently, I would say like it's been a year now. I go and see a psychiatrist.
Okay, yeah.
I talk about a lot of things that I've been through, and it kind of helps me open up that door,
Therapy is so important, and if you can afford it, I think it's a great thing. And therapy, more than anything I've learned, is not for crazy people. No. If anything, more people need to be in therapy.
No,
so
seriously.
Yeah,
seriously.
I think that's
serious.
No, I think that's wonderful. But what is a mistake that you've made, like a big mistake you feel like you've made in your career, life, whatever, and how did you learn from it?
Mistake. Oh gosh, it's hard for me to look at life like that.
But that's good. Maybe you don't feel like you did.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's not to say that like I don't make mistakes, because I do. I just think that there wasn't one mistake that was so detrimental to my career.
Right.
I would just say like maybe not being as confident like as I should have been.
Right.
Like, girl, you're killing it.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell my old self that, because a lot of times, which is crazy, like if I'm amongst people or used to be friends at the time, like I would notice that the same like passions I had at that moment, they would like take away. And it was something that I had to dig deep on and kind of talk about, because I've always like kept it quiet, and a lot of times it hurt my feelings. Like, seeing people like do the same things that you've brought to them or brought light to them, like, hey, I love doing this, and they just walk around and take it away as if you've never inspired them.
Yeah.
So now I've learned to just have that confidence in what I do and own it.
And not need validation for it.
Exactly.
No, that's tough. I think that's a big deal, especially with like friendship. I think especially when you're like adulting or getting older, friends, it changes. And a lot of times if they don't necessarily see the purpose from this, everyone has purpose.
Yes.
But it's for you to sit and figure it out. And if they can see like you striving, sometimes people want to suck that out of you. So I think, I think that's great that you realize that, you've noticed it, and then like, okay, now time to pivot or remove those people out of your life. But in the, the whole makeup industry, would you recommend a young person, so say 17-year-old Ari, at Carol City right now, you know what I'm saying? And they want to be a part of the makeup beauty guru industry, would you still encourage them to go ahead?
Absolutely.
Why would you encourage them now, even still?
I feel like going forward in any passion that you may have opens like so many like doors to so many things. So you may want to be a makeup artist now, but then tomorrow you turn out to be a fashion stylist. Like, you just never know. So I always try to like push people, even if they come to me, to go for it. Go for it, for whatever it is that you want to do at that moment. Do it, because we literally only have one life to live. And I feel like life is just a journey, and if you don't take risk, then what's life? So
basically your advice to them would be take risks. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. See if you like it. Because a lot of times I was just like sitting there and like, I don't know, I'm scared, or I don't have a kid. Always making excuses for not really pushing forward. And had I actually done it then, like I probably would have been big now. But it's crazy. I just feel like people should just push forward. As soon as you get that thought, like just do it.
Just do it. I think that's so important. See if you like it.
Yeah.
See if you like it. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. No, but think about it. When you're young, you think about all the craziest, the craziest scenarios. I'm just like, okay, you don't like it, then you move on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine the things you haven't done just because you didn't want to try.
Exactly. And I feel like even too, like I've had, like in my personal life and my family and stuff, they always used to try to like, I would say, it wasn't them trying to hurt me. That wasn't their intention. But they did try to like, oh no, I don't think that you'll like that. And kind of like downplay it, and I wasn't able to actually try and do it all because I took their advice literal. You know, so I just always encourage people to like just go and do it and see if you like it.
See if you like it, and then if you don't like it, just don't do it anymore.
Exactly.
But so I want to go ahead and wrap this interview up, and how I like to end all of my interviews is asking, what does living on purpose mean to you?
Oh, what does living on purpose mean to me?
Yes.
I think when you really take like I said, be confident in what you do and what you offer. Just take ownership to it and push forward. And I think that, you know, is the journey and the open door to living a purposeful life.
Yes. So if people are looking for you, where can they find you? And do you have any upcoming projects? I know you said you have a class coming up. Like, where can they find you, follow you, message you, since you said you want messages?
DM me. Okay, you can follow me on Instagram. Currently, I'm working on my website, and I will be offering classes, and I will have products, so stay tuned. But my Instagram is Rahrii Beauty. That's RAHRIIBEAUTY.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right, guys. See you guys in the next episode. Bye. Did you like this interview? Tell me what you liked about it in the comment section below. And while you're down there, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell button so you get more notifications for the next Living on Purpose interview. And don't forget to share this video with someone that you like, love, or you just want to see this video. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Living on Purpose. Bye, guys.